The United States has nearly 600 less oil rigs. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Grab your stein of coffee, or as you Yanks would say, your cup of joe, and let's have a look at some interesting economic figures that have come out. This is from Baker Hughes, and it's their rig count. So we can see here, the last count was on the 25th of September, was 261. The change from the prior count, which was on 18th of September, is +6. But from the 27th of September in 2019, it's down 599. So nearly 600 less rigs. 600 less rigs. And oil is one of the big exports, or refined petroleum is one of the big exports of the US now. So let's scroll down a little bit more and have a look through this. You can see Canada was at 71. They're up from 7, but in change from last year, down 56. August was at 747, up 4 for internationally, but it was down 391. So we can see there's been some big moves, big reductions in this, which isn't surprising considering, remember everyone, when the oil price went negative just for that short moment? Because there is a cost associated with storing this stuff. No one wanted to take delivery. So Baker Hughes has issued the rotary rig counts as a service to the petroleum industry since 1944, when Baker Hughes Tool Company began weekly counts of US and Canadian drilling activity. Baker Hughes initiated the monthly international rig count in 75. The North American rig count is released weekly at noon Central Time on the last day of the work week. Starting in February 2020, the international rig count will be released on the last working day of the first week of the month. The Baker Hughes rig counts are an important business barometer for the drilling industry and its suppliers. When drill rigs are active, they consume products and services produced by the oil services industry. The active rig count acts as a leading indicator as a demand for products used in drilling, completing production and processing hydrocarbons. Baker Hughes rigs counts are published by major newspapers and trade publications, are referred to frequently by journalists, economists, security analysts, and government officials, and are included in many industry statistical reports. Because they've been compiled consistently for 70 years, Baker Hughes rig counts are also useful in historical analysis of the industry. And if we jump over here, we can see the historical data going back to, to the early 90s. But you can see here, look at the number of rigs. And it shot up in 2010. Shot up. And then it's plunged right down recently, climbed back up again, and has just sank. Just has sank right back down. And there is no consensus or trading economic forecast for this data. But let's have a look at just refined petroleum in the US to get a bit of an understanding of this industry. So it is one of their biggest exports in the United States, and their top destination in 2018 was for Mexico. It's the fastest growing market is Mexico. So Mexico has grown by 7.82 billion in 2017 to 2018 for demand for refined petroleum from the US. So the US imports 56 billion, and the top origin is Canada. Fastest grow is the Netherlands. So if we can scroll down here, we can see the monthly refined petroleum export growth in the US. You can see here that it has jumped, export growth has crashed, understandably, in April, and has recovered slightly, with, hopefully some parts of the world returning back to normal, some parts of business activity and travel opening up again. So, and here is, let's have a look here. So export growth by destination, and we can see partner country export growth. Australia, we're down, down 97.7%. We aren't doing too well. Canada is down. Canada. Mexico, it's gone down. Trade value has dropped. If we scroll down here, we can see the export destinations. So the majority of it now is going, if we said to Mexico, then to Canada, Brazil, and where do you have number 3? Mexico, Canada, Brazil, and Venezuela. Wonder if that's still happening. And Chile. So the US imported $56 billion in refined petroleum from Canada, Russia, South Korea, India, and the Netherlands. So an interesting industry that, well, is a big part of the United States. Let's go to the country's report, and we'll have a look here to see how much of your export market, not Belarus. And you can see here, it is the third biggest export from the US. You've got here aircraft parts, integrated circuits, refined petroleum, then commodities not elsewhere specified, and then crude petroleum. So it's interesting to keep an eye on this figure, just looking at, well, current oil rigs and how they're going in Australia. So it increased from September slightly, but it definitely is in a suppressed state from particularly the boom of the US becoming an oil independent country. And particularly with the lower cost, let's have a look here, of petroleum on the global stage. Crude oil is at $40. Brent is at 42 right now. I mean, look at that. There we had the negative. But if we go to max data, or 25 years, you can see we're well off the high in 08, just at the GFC. Let's have a look at this article, which is discussing the cost of oil production by country, so we get an appreciation of the break-even costs that we have, that we see here, because the concern is that a lot of the American producers at these low prices won't be able to compete, and, well, maybe certain countries around the world are systematically pushing the prices lower as an attack on this industry in the States. So this is the cost of oil production by country, and it's published Tuesday, the 10th of March 2020, but it was from October 2018. Nonetheless, it's still important to have a look at. So global oil prices have fallen by more than 30% since the summer of 2014, affecting oil producers and consumers alike. This dashboard presents oil price dynamics and the break-even oil prices, minimum oil price to cover general government expenditures over the past decade, as well as a snapshot of the marginal cost of oil production by country in 2014. A world oil price in the range of $55 to $60 per barrel is less than the cost of Russian Arctic oil production, European and Brazilian biofuel production, US and Canadian shale and tight oil production, and Brazilian pre-salt oil production. So you've got to understand, we're now at $40. So it's definitely below the cost of production of the US and a lot of these other countries, even accounting for inflation in these few years since then. Sustained price levels below the cost of production can deter exploration and production and shift production potentially for years to come. State budgets of oil-producing countries suffer as oil prices dip below their respective break-even prices. In December 2014, the world experienced just that, as world oil prices fell below break-even for almost all oil exporters. Here in Australia, for us, it's iron ore. We're an iron ore exporter. We're an iron ore country. We've got a budget requires it was set at 50% for the federal $50 for the federal budget. I'm getting tired, guys. I've done a lot of recording today. So you can see here the break-even point for Iran is 194. Whoa, Algeria, Libya, none of these. Probably Qatar is closest to at the moment. You can see, we can go back. So you can see here, I'm in Yemen. Look at that. Wow. And you can have here the external break-even oil price. You can see how it's changed. I mean, there you go. I mean, the whole industry is in trouble right now. The whole industry is in trouble. The United Arab Emirates, they're still making a profit. Turkmenistan might. And here's the top 10 oil exporters. And we can see here the United States here. And how that's changed. So they've grown. What do we have here? The benchmark crude oil price. You can see how it's shot down. It's shot down. So production of crude oil, including lease condensate, and thousands of barrels per day, the US, then Russia, then Saudi Arabia. And this is interesting to see the some of the different measures. Let's have a look. We'll jump back to 2010. US was number 3. Then they're sitting at number 3. We go to 2012, still number 3. US is growing. US is growing. US is growing. US is still number 3. Look at that. They're catching up to Russia and Saudi Arabia. Boom. 2017. US is the biggest production. But we'll have to see. At cost these lows, at costs so low, can this be sustained? As always, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or KuCoin. You can buy merch from Heise Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.